Well, the GPU race is really heating up now, as new rumours have started to surface around the RTX 3080 Ti, a brand new graphics card that is supposedly being developed by Nvidia to compete against the recently announced and excellent looking RX 6000 series cards. So in this little game of leapfrog, will the RTX 3080 Ti be able to survive the red onslaught of the RX 6000 series? Well, from the little bits of information we know about it so far, potentially. So what kind of card will it be? Well, you can kind of gather it from the name. It's going to be slightly better than 3080, but not quite at the RTX 3090 level, with right now rumours suggesting it's going to be priced at around $999. So the exact same price as the RX 6900 XT. And now that's a very dangerous game to play, because the 6900 XT already trades blows with the RTX 3090. So despite its relatively lower price at least, it's still definitely punching up in a way different league. So would it be smart for Nvidia to release a card in this price range, seeing the odds of it being able to compete with the 1600 XT are so low, seeing how it's pretty on par with 3090, a card that costs $1,400, $400 more than the 1600 XT and the supposed 3080 Ti. Well, there's a few things that Nvidia could do here to make it work. Firstly, rumours suggest that Nvidia killed off any plans for a 20GB variant of the RTX 3080. So a 3080 Ti could be a great opportunity to create a card that has 20GB of VRAM. Naturally, we kind of expected the 3080 Ti to have more VRAM than the 3080, as in previous generation of cards, the 80 Ti had more VRAM than the just 80 card, but we don't know exactly how much VRAM this card will have just yet. But as long as it has at least 16 gigs or more, then that would be great, because that's how much VRAM the RX 6900 XT has. But just matching the VRAM won't be enough, naturally, seeing how, again, the actual overall performance of the 1600 XT is still so extreme. Like I said, it battles it out with the RTX 3090, which costs $400 more. And what are the odds that Nvidia will all of a sudden release a graphics card that is very similar in performance to the RTX 3090, but for $400 less? That would just be a very bad decision when it comes to actually trying to sell the more expensive graphics card to people, especially seeing how the 3090 just came out. So it's definitely not in the best interest to have the 3080 Ti creep too close to the performance of the 3090, because then they risk making the 3090 obsolete already. So what can they do? Well, there's two ways I can see them take it. Obviously, the 3080 Ti has to have just pure better performance than the 3080, higher clocks and more cores as expected, but then they can also do two more things. Firstly, they can either release a 20GB card at that rumored $999 price tag, so all the people who really need that extra 10 gigs of VRAM over the 3080 and there's 4 gigs of VRAM over the 1600 XT, then could go for that. Plus they also get a slight performance improvement over the 3080, plus Nvidia specific tools like the NVENC encoder and the whole suite of tools that Nvidia has. Then still it'll be a very hard sell when the RX 6900 XT exists, unless you just really need those extra 4 gigs of VRAM, the NVENC encoder, and all those other Nvidia tools. So alternatively, what they could do is sell a 16GB card, but add something like $899 instead. So they still beat the 1600 XT on price, they match it on VRAM, and performance-wise it may not be as close, and it will fit a very nice price niche that hasn't been well populated yet in this generation of graphics cards. Now, in an ideal world, a card that's both $899 and has 20 gigs of VRAM would be ideal, and I highly doubt that Nvidia would be able to pull it off. But if they do manage it, if they do manage to have a 20GB card with way better performance than 3080, but not 3090 levels, and definitely not RX 6900 XT levels, but just have that at 20 gigs, $899, I think that'd be a huge deal. Will they be able to pull it off? Who knows? Only time will tell. But honestly, if they will, then that'll be such a huge win for Nvidia right there. If they do at least one of those things, you know, $999 20 gigs or $899 16 gigs, at least it'll be still somewhat competitive. And if they manage to neither of those, then I don't think there would point for it in a world where the RX 6900 XT exists, unless you just really want stuff like NVENC. But let me know what you think of the 3080 Ti from what we know so far. It's looking to be a very, very curious little graphics card. Nvidia needs to get a lot right about it, seeing what kind of amazing numbers AMD has been showcasing so far when it comes to the RX 6000 series. So yeah, this is going to be a very, very exciting game of leapfrog between the two companies now, and I just can't wait to see what kind of great performance at great prices we, as the final customers, will get. And hey, while you're here, maybe check out my Patreon. It's going to be down in the video description below. Even $1 a month goes a long way to help on my channel. It really, really does help a lot. And also, like for my patrons, Gavin Burns and RKB, thank you ever so much. Then there's also a link to my Discord if you want to talk to me about this or whatever else really. And also down there is our Amazon links, because if you buy anything from Amazon links, you don't pay anything extra, we get some money, it's a win-win. Let's have a link to some good power supplies, because let's be honest, you're going to need one if you're planning to get an RX 6000 or an RTX 3000 series graphics card. And I guess that's really it, so I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you did, subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in my dialect next. Goodbye everyone, goodbye.